ऐसे कोई रूकी मोमेंट है जो एकदम याद करके हंसी आ जाती है कि बॉस ये क्या ही हो रहा है, इससे अच्छा तो कंसल्टिंग ही हो रहा था?
हाँ मतलब आई थिंक वो तो मेरा इंटरव्यू डेट पे भी था, टू बी ऑनेस्ट.
क्या हुआ
I think there was a specific moment when I made a blunder in the interview. I said something which should not have been said, and I realized it. So as soon as I realized it, I said it out loud.
What was that?
It was something about why do soldiers lay their life on the ground, right? So they were trying to understand the reasons behind it. I said a couple of reasons, then I said one of the reasons could be the security that they get in terms of financial monetary understanding.
Yeah. So marks were primarily also low because the handwriting was bad.
हाँ मतलब I do believe obviously.
And you are not a doctor also, so.
There's no causation and correlation. I think doctors can have the leverage of having bad handwriting.
Yeah.
It's not the other way around because they have bad handwriting. That's why.
Have you seen a doctor with a good handwriting, by the way? So Rohit, बेन में यू वर अ प्रोजेक्ट लीडर, IIM में थे, SRCC गए, इतना कुछ कर चुके थे, कॉर्पोरेट वाज गोइंग वेरी वेल, पैकेज अच्छा था. एग्जैक्ट मोमेंट कि अब हो गया, UPSC करना है, और कलीग्स को क्या बोला व्हेन यू वर स्टार्टिंग UPSC प्रिपरेशन?
There was not an exact moment, I would say, sir. It's more of I would say a rhythm to it, if I have to call it that way. I was thinking about it. I've been two, three different minds. It was 4 years in Bain and Company strategy consulting. I think my learning sort of plateaued out there, and I knew there are other things to achieve as well in terms of career progression out there. But I thought 2 things were in my mind. Number one is I think I had some inclination to do better for the society per se. So that was number one. And number two is I think my potential, I was thinking about whether I can probably land it. So PhD was another thought in my mind that I can go back to academic. And then this was another thing. So that was primarily it. My partner suggested me that I should do it. My family was also, you can give it because I was financially secure. I repaid my education loan. I had some decent saving as well. So that was the sort of plan per se. In terms of that, in terms of coming to the corporate friends and colleagues, I did not tell them, to be honest. Most of them don't know till yet.
Why didn't you tell them?
I think for me it was, I did not want to create any buzz or news or noise around it. 2 ways. Most primary reason is I did not want to create that sort of, let's say, news, or let's say that noise, or that all think that okay, this is going to happen. Secondly, that's more secondary, but I do not want to create any pressure on me, because when you tell anyone, then it might create pressure. I will like when it comes to that कि जब हो जाएगा, now I'm going to tell them in a few days or weeks. But yeah, I did not want to tell them.
Now that your Bain colleagues know that you have gotten a rank, are they treating you differently?
No, nothing.
कुछ ऐसा?
First of all, nobody knows, as I said. Couple of people actually someone who's actually preparing for UPSC as well. He reached out to me because he got to know from some post in the industry, and then 4-5 people reached out to me a week back. So we had a very good conversation about it. But yeah, coming back to the whole point, for me, it's normal. I'm trying to keep it normal, and I've told them the same thing. It's not different per se. I'm the same person. I'll tell my other colleagues as well in a while, and I don't think it's going to be any different.
प्रिपरेशन के टाइम में वी ऑफन सी कि बहुत सारे रूकी मोमेंट्स होते हैं, लाइक 3 AM में कुछ स्ट्राइक कर गया, मतलब पढ़ रहे हो, आउट ऑफ द ट्रैक चले गए, मेंटल हेल्थ इश्यूज हैं, कुछ हो सकते हैं. ऐसे कोई रूकी मोमेंट है जो एकदम याद करके हंसी आ जाती है कि बॉस ये क्या ही हो रहा है, इससे अच्छा तो कंसल्टिंग ही हो रहा था?
हाँ मतलब आई थिंक वो तो मेरा इंटरव्यू डेट पे भी था, टू बी ऑनेस्ट.
क्या हुआ था?
I mean, on the day itself, right? It has been almost 2.5 years, and you are not crossing the threshold. And sadly enough, our society does not appreciate the hard work as much as the success, right? When you become something, they'll obviously cheer you up. But if you don't, even after all the hard work, I don't think they're gonna boost that much in terms of appreciation or cheer. So I was thinking that maybe this was the wrong decision per se, even optional for that matter. Is it a right or wrong in terms of how it's scoring? Obviously, that's not under my control, but I think that what makes us human, that we are thinking about so many things and trying to find a balance in it. So broadly, I would say that was throughout the journey. For me, my personality is such that I'm an introvert person. I don't express my emotion over a broad range, be it sadness or be it happiness. Even after the result, I'm okay with it. So I think that helped me personally a lot, even when I'm giving prelims, even when I'm giving mains, even when I was on the interview. I think it was on first, second or third day. So it was very early on first interview. I was like, whatever is in my hand, I'll try to do it. And I think apart from that, spirituality did help a lot in terms of my family is a bit more religious, let's say, doing fast, doing puja and all. I also did on the crucial days, let's say prelims के time पे कुछ सुनना या फिर उससे पहले. So again, trying to find the balance, talking to my partner, talking to my friends, I think that helps. In terms of rookie moments, हाँ मतलब पढ़ रहे हो आप बट कुछ रिजल्ट नहीं निकल रहा है, you're given a test but your marks are very low. तो वो सब चीज़ें तो आती हैं.
Marks were primarily also low because the handwriting was bad.
हाँ, मतलब I do believe obviously.
And you're not a doctor also, so.
There's no causation and correlation. I think doctors can have the leverage of having bad handwriting.
Yeah.
It's not the other way around because they have bad handwriting. That's why they're.
Have you seen a doctor with a good handwriting, by the way?
I'm
yet to meet one.
But I think there are some people. There's one of my friend. He's doing from AIMS, if I'm not wrong. तो बचपन में तो उसका अच्छा ही था. पता नहीं क्या हुआ होगा. I haven't talked to him for a while, but yeah.
But then see, SRCC is a dream college for commerce students, and obviously I am. So it's a classic good colleges, right? And Bain, like the biggest company, one of the biggest companies, you can go and you can be a project leader. Again, civil services एकदम opposite spectrum है यार कि consulting, private sector, अचानक से अब सरकार के लिए कुछ करना है. मतलब वो thought process में जाने के लिए भी मोमेंट्स जैसे कहा आपने नहीं था एग्जैक्टली, बट वो थॉट प्रोसेस को चेंज करने के लिए भी तो बहुत कुछ चाहिए होता है, राइट?
हाँ, मतलब आई वुड rather differ to it in an extent that it's not completely polar opposite. I think Purushottam sir was also saying during the facilitation that you don't only need good people in bureaucracy, right? And other way to look at it is doing well for society is not the monopoly of bureaucracy. If you are not in bureaucracy, it's still your job, right, as a citizen. And other way to put it, let's say if all the good people are in bureaucracy, then do you want to manage all the bad people in the society? No, right? You obviously need some good entrepreneur, you obviously need good politician, you obviously need good citizens. Everyone in the society, good and bad is everywhere. There would be some bureaucrats who are not doing, let's say, relatively that good. So I would say, first of all, is I don't keep it as polar opposite. Coming to the second part of it, how did it happen? I think in SRCC, I obviously was naive. Still, I am naive. I don't understand society that well. But
why do you say you don't understand society well?
Because it's complex, right? It's, for me, life is just full of randomness, and you are trying to create your own logic about it, right? When you are kids, your parents tell you, okay, this is how the society works. They don't tell you everything. You don't understand science, and you believe. When you grow up, you learn a few more things, you absorb things, and you try to interpret the whole society with that logic. Still, the society is very diverse, specifically India, being with that level of diversity. You still won't understand everything, right? So even let's say when I retire after 60, 70, or whenever I die, I don't think I'll be able to understand the society or the world completely, and I'm okay with that. Point being that you could try to create those logics, those hypotheses in your mind, and try to understand the life. So the more complex the hypothesis becomes, I think the more nuance you can get in life, and you can try to make a balanced decision, not better, balanced. So coming back to the question is, I think there was a specific moment or a couple of days or maybe weeks when I was reading about farmer suicides a lot. I think there was in SRCC specifically. I think there was a time when I actually felt pretty bad that they are
in Maharashtra particularly, with the region or worldwide?
To be honest, I was just reading about it, so I did not go very deep into it, but I felt bad that they are doing so much of hard work, everything they're doing, and still, I think as per some report, they might get 10%. It might have improved after the government efforts, maybe 20% but still, you are selling something for 100 rupees, your farmers are getting 10 rupees, 20 rupees. That's a very sadistic part to look at. So I think that was one of the reasons for me to think about that I can do something better. I even did a project in MBA, how MSP can be done better, and farm loan waivers and all of that. So that was there in my mind. Even during corporate, I used to do whatever I can do in my perspective with my finance background to do better for the society. But obviously, I cannot change the whole society by myself. So that was one of the pathway to do it. Even if I wouldn't have gotten into civil services, I'm surely would have done something about society. Even going back to the corporate, right? Doing something, let's say, charity, or trying to understand it better. Even reading it and posting about it obviously helps. So I think that was the sole reason for me to maybe give it a crack.
You said that you tried because after in Bain your debt were repaid, right? And of course money is important at some point of time, naturally. But then people say that money beyond a point doesn't add any value. I mean, it's all about living a meaningful life. So there are two theories about it, right? And I think 2 lakh a month, close to what you were earning. And because you had repaid that debt, did you get the freedom to now pursue something else?
Yes.
And क्योंकि अब चुका दिया है पैसा है.
So my family is.
अब कुछ भी कर सकता हूँ. Like मैंने वो चुका दिया है. Like वो पैसा चुका दिया है.
I think there are two parameters, right? First is how you think, as I was saying, how you think about yourself, and I mostly care about 99% of my closed ones. That 1% of society, I genuinely try to keep it as a noise and outside, not saying they are bad, but not trying to use them as a major factor in my decision. So for me personally, it was that I have taken education loan, and coming from a humble background, my family did not have that level of wealth that they can comfortably pay it off. They could have paid it off. My brother said that if you want, we can pay it off. You can do whatever you want. Even in the early days when I was thinking about PhD, But I thought that because I've taken it, it's my responsibility to pay it back. So I did my corporate there. I was, let's say, not spending that as compared to other people. I repaid it in 1.5 to 2 years. It was, I think, 15 to 20 lakhs of loan. Then I even saved it. I was doing whatever, even enjoying life, let's say going out on trip or spending money. But after 4 years, there are a couple of parameters saying, right? First of all, you have to learn in corporate. I learned enough. I ensured that I have decent footing in the corporate because I knew I had to get a fallback option. Because statistically speaking, I knew that it's not going to happen. And today also I'm sitting here, I still believe statistically to someone else, it might not going to happen. So you better create your opportunity cost. I had a decent opportunity cost. Even after the first time when I failed the final result, I actually started giving interviews.
For the corporate.
Just to get, okay, where I'm standing. I got a very good offer from Middle East, very high paying job. So I knew, okay, if this second time also doesn't work, I'll go back. So I was satisfied. Maybe this links to the first point that you're saying, that rookie mistake, रात को 3 बजे नींद नहीं आ रहा. I think this aligns with that. Because I knew कि मेरे को बाद में कुछ ना कुछ मिल जाएगा. I was able to sleep well. Coming back to the question is, internally I knew कि मेरे को करना है. Secondly, it's about आसपास आपके लोग क्या बोल रहे हैं. Let's say even after 4 years, my family says that you shouldn't do it because your opportunity cost is very high. I might not have chosen it. And there was discussion. My brother said that it's very risky. You might not want to do it. You have a very good paying job. But broadly, all were aboard that, okay, go for it. We can manage it, loans and everything else, the other loans, for at least, let's say, 1 or 2 years. And thankfully, they're still doing it. So that gave me a freedom. So coming back to the question, I do understand that number one is financial freedom matters. You might not have it, but you should know that you have it. I mean, let's say you have done a very good degree and you know your understanding that I am this worth in the society. That should be your number. It doesn't necessarily have to be in lakhs or crores. You should be able to make peace with it. And secondly, it's about you should create an opportunity cost that not necessarily is in financial. There are some people, let's say, who are okay not earning a lot, but they know that if it doesn't happen, let's say, for example, UPSC doesn't happen, I can go to, let's say, a public policy research or a political consulting, right? So if you know that I'm capable enough, I can go back. I think you will have a very good booster in your preparation itself, because you'll be confident. On the interview day, you won't feel like they are holding my life, and you will be, whatever you will speak with confidence. So I think that did reflect in the interview hindsight, if I have to think in that manner.
So had you not gotten a rank this year, would you be doing it again? Or
I already had a corporate job offer before the results came in. 1 week back, I had a chat with call with HR day before yesterday. I apologized to her because professionally it was not a good deal. But I already had an offer in my hand and I was completely prepared. If it doesn't go through, first thing I'll go back to, again, it was a strategy consulting. I'll go back to that.
And you would have never come back?
I would have thought about it. Maybe, let's say, if the numbers were very great in mains and less in interview, then I probably would have given it. Versus, that was not the case, unfortunately. But mains is like a balance thingy, just beyond the threshold, and interview was very great. So I needed to work on a lot of stuff. Now, those specific things, if those are laid down, and I believe I have potential to do it with the job, I would have probably given it. Because again, I think the risk reward is very high. But at least going back to the corporate, making sure your career progress, having mental understanding, age-wise as well, marriage and personal stuff as well. So, उस सब के sense में I would have probably gotten back.
Right. So it does matter, right? कि एक time पे you need to feel success in this examination.
That's my perspective. I'm not saying this is the only right perspective. I've seen people who have given their life to civil services. There were some rankers in the facilitation as well who have given even more than half a decade, and they're very happy about it, and they're they're saying that you should also do it for the other candidates. So that's their journey. I don't mind someone else's following their journey, but they should understand the consequences of it. So I'm just trying to be, let's say, a bit more rational about it. So I'm not saying this is how we should do it. If you feel this is your only calling in life, then sure, go ahead with it. I don't have any problem with that.
Only calling in life. Do we have a parameter to decide that this is the only calling of our life?
I think, as I was saying, previous discussion that we were having, as a kid, you learn stories, right? So I have talked to people who are obsessed with this because they have sort of built all their dreams on this platform, right? So it's about, as we also say, that there are many journeys to the same destination. So you need to decide a destination. I think that's more or less everybody knows that I want, let's say, financial success or social success or whatever that is. The problem comes when you choose the path. That maybe I want to do UPSC. The only thing that I'm trying to maybe pass on the message is there's no one set pattern to it. I've seen people who are in civil services who actually retire because it's not working out for them.
Yeah.
And they go out of the system and they're still doing better job. And there are people who have tried this and maybe not succeeded. I think if I'm not wrong, our ex-president only, he has done it, and we still respect him, right? So that's not a problem. So similarly, APJ Abdul Kalam, he wanted to become a fighter but could not, and then finally flew the plane while he was the president.
Yeah.
So the whole point is to understand that perspective, right? कि अगर 5-10 साल लगाना चाह रहे हो, there might be some better opportunities. I'm not trying to pursue someone not to do it for 5 years or 6 years. Do it. I'm more than happy for you. I'll even be cheering for you. But statistically speaking, and I'm more of a cynical person, it's not going to work out for you. So you better have some plan B, if you have to call it that.
Have some breathing space.
Yes.
Wonderful. So with respect to interview also, you scored phenomenally well. 210 is a great marks. 2022 made it was the highest marks. 4 साल में, of course, the pattern has changed. 225 is the highest marks. But had you been in 2022, you would have topped the interviews with this marks. So क्या लगता है इसमें? And I think you were in the early stages, correct? So were you naturally more confident because you thought that this is where you can do better than mains? And did that help? And your DAF, I also remember, was quite diverse. You, I think, wrote some
we discussed
Hindi stuff also. You had something in DAF, right? I'm not able to recall whether it was poetry or shairi, but something like that.
Yeah. So intentionally, we discussed it, right? And you were great enough to at least say that diversity matters.
Yeah.
And I did talk to a few other people and looked at the interview requirements. I think that's more laid down as compared to other processes. So they do tell you that diversity matters. Then you should be able to maybe somehow project those parameters which is required in civil services, right? Social cause and other parameters. So I think once we discussed it, it was a great deal. And intentionally we deleted some of the stuff. We intentionally kept some of the stuff which I think that did matter in the overall interview. I think a couple of things which worked for me was, number one, I think having a good background accumulation wise does help. I don't want to take this from anyone, and but I think that's realistic, which sort of makes sense.
So having SRCC, IIM,
it does matter.
It does matter.
Yeah, it does matter. Your brand value does matter because you have done something in the initial life which others were not able to achieve, right? Not trying to demean them, but it's a good indicator of the interview panel, right?
Correct.
So I think my benchmark in their mind itself would have been very high as compared to other candidates. During the mock itself, some people were discussing that this is a good guy, I have done corporate life as well, understand how things work. So there's a good potential that he might do something good in the governance, right? So I think that was the number one parameter. So which is a good deal for me. I think secondly was having good communication style and speaking skills, I think did matter. For example, I don't have very good tonality. I mean, speaking very loud, very low. That could be a bad thing in corporate or private life. But I think in governance, it did work in my favor because even if I am under pressure, my voice tonality would not change. Versus even when I'm talking something very exciting, my tonality would not change. I think which is required in bureaucratic life, if I'm not wrong. So that worked. I think thirdly, I was confident in my skin, in the sense, again, trying to, let's say, connect with the people I follow or sports. You take it one thing at a time. If you're, I think I wrote tennis, watching tennis, if I'm not wrong. So obviously, players like Djokovic, Nadal, and all the greats, they say that they focus on the just one shot, right? It does not really matter if you start thinking about what's going to happen on the interview date, who's going to be my panel, what are they going to ask. You try to talk to other person, what are they asking. So I think for me, all those are uncontrollables, and that has happened throughout the process. I don't talk to people on the exam day. I don't discuss it in depth. For me, whatever is in my control, I try to control that. I think that was a very big thing in interview specifically, because for me, it was something which I was okay to play around. I don't matter these conspiracy theories. This is a worse board or difficult board, better word, and this is easier board. I do not believe in that. Whatever came my way, I'll perform as per my understanding. There was a specific moment when I made a blunder in the interview. I said something which should not have been said, and I realized it. So as soon as I realized it, I said it out loud.
What was that?
It was something about why do soldiers lay their life on the ground, right? So they were trying to understand the reasons behind it. I said a couple of reasons. Then I said one of the reasons could be the security that they get in terms of financial and monetary understanding. And as soon as I said it, I thought, okay, this is very stupid, right? You cannot say it. So I actually acknowledged it towards the very end. After I saying 1, 2, 3 points, I said, sir, actually the last point actually does not make a lot of sense. I did not look at it, but I think some people started laughing. Not very big loud, but I think they they understood that I am acknowledging it. So having that level of maturity in the actual interview, that you have said something stupid and you are able to acknowledge it, I don't think it comes easy because you're thinking so many things in your head. Okay, क्या बोलना है, कैसे बोलना है, words का use करने हैं, things like that. बैठना कैसे है, ये कैसे है, वो कैसे है. For me, it was very natural. Whatever I did not know, I said कि मुझे नहीं पता. Towards the very end, coming to the poetry part, the chairperson did ask me कि ये क्या करते हो तुम. So I said something about reflective journal and all, and he sort of, I don't think he got annoyed, but I think he was bored in the sense. He was like कि all the people you are writing the same stuff. तुम्हें क्या लगता है कि हम नहीं करते हैं करके, and he said कि तुम्हारा interview खत्म है. So I did not take it in a negative manner. I could have taken it in a negative manner. At some point he was saying everything else is okay, but looks like you don't do a physical activity a lot. So again, I did not take it in a negative manner. Probably they were trying to pressurize me in that manner. So I think broadly, if I have to give some message to some people, I would say number one is have your DAF very balanced. What I mean by that is you cannot just play around one dimension. Let's say you're very good in finance or you're very good in social services. You cannot just put social service, put something else as well. Secondly, there's something called white lie versus absolute lie. There could be, what I mean by that is there are some projects I did, let's say half a decade back. I have no clue about them when I was filling it, but I knew I can actually cope up with it. But some things were I cannot cope up with it. So
like the farmer project you mentioned.
The farmer project I could cope up with it. Even Swachh Bharat for that matter, which is a good entry, but I did not know when I was writing it. So I read about it. I knew I could manage it. But something like, let's say, running a marathon. I did not write last year, but this year I'm writing because I know this year I'll be able to carve out some time and I'll be able to manage it. So whatever you can manage in terms of lie, do that. And number three, I would say try to find your own personality or balance. What I mean by that is it's not left to right. It's not communication style. Just be true to yourself. They're not trying to judge. They're not trying to fit you in a module. I mean कि ऐसा होना चाहिए civil servant, right? Otherwise सारे civil servant को robot बना दोगे, ये बना दोगे, सब बन जाएंगे same. There are so much diversity. There are some people, let's say, coming from humble background. There are some who are better off. There are some, let's say, male versus female, someone from north, south, and all of that, right? So it's very difficult for them to put it in one box. So naturally, what they're probably, this is my hindsight, nobody knows, but what they're probably looking at is if this person will be true to their nature in the service, right? If I am saying this right now, I'll probably say the same thing 5 years down the line. At least try to. हो सकता है मेरा personality change हो जाए. But if I'm economically right, I'm economically right. I have a rationale behind it. So I'm okay saying that. So just be true to yourself. अगर आपको नहीं आता ज़्यादा English तो ठीक है, that's not a problem. अगर आपको left ही रहना है तो left रहिए, कोई problem नहीं है.
Honestly, it's a very important point, and the way you corrected yourself there, I think that showed a lot of maturity and also, dead honesty. I remember in the class also, one of the classes we were discussing Delhi, I guess, and of course Delhi and rape issues, of course, we have to discuss in the class. And probably you said that in Maharashtra, rapes are lesser or probably something on those lines because Marathi people take it very seriously, something like that. And you obviously got a lot of counter questions in the class itself. So some honesty you had there also. You could have chosen not to say that in the class, but then you didn't shy away from doing that. So I think this is one skill you carried to the interview board also, and you said whatever came to your mind and heart.
I think preparation obviously matters, right? You know what not to say, and probably even if you know what to say, you know how to say it, right? That's more of an art rather than somebody telling you ऐसे बोल दीजिए, right? Because अगर आप मुझे पता है कि मेरे को कुछ डिप्लोमेटिक बोलना है या फिर कुछ controversial बोलना है, firstly I should know कि मैं बोल क्यों रहा हूँ, right? I know because I can defend it to some extent. I am not saying this is dead set. If people would have convinced me otherwise that no, this is actually wrong, it's the same comparison in Delhi versus Maharashtra in terms of women's safety. I am okay at least accepting it if you try to convince me and if you give me rational points and we try to find a better solution. Because otherwise, see, the problem is not that nobody wants rapes in our country, right? Be it Maharashtra or Delhi or Northeast. What we want is safe society. So everybody knows, again, coming out of the same position, that everybody knows the destination is the same. It's about the path, right? I am thinking in a different manner. You are thinking in a different manner. Maybe mix of both is better, or maybe my path is completely wrong. I am okay with that. So I had that in mind that I don't think in interview that happens a lot, that they try to push you to the other side. They will just question you. So I think they are just testing कि आप सोच भी पा रहे हो या नहीं सोच पा रहे हो. In one-on-one or in group discussion, obviously, the other side is more aggressive and shares more of their perspective. So for me, I have been that person who's okay. I think I read this in Psychology of Money, if I'm not wrong, as a book or someplace else, that nobody is wrong, nobody is cynical in their personality. They have seen something, they have experienced something, they have listened to something which is making them think like this. So there's no one who's stupid. It's just that you have to understand their perspective. You will be able to better empathize with their perspective. So somebody is saying that Delhi mein rape cases are not for culture, but maybe let's say for something else. I am okay listening to that. But what I want as a team together is not to have it. Right? My point was being out there is Delhi does not have local genuine culture, which is has been for a long history. We don't take pride as a Delhiite per se. And versus Mumbai people, Mumbaikar as they call them, and Marathi people, they take it as a pride that this is our locality. And I experienced it in MP itself when I was in Indore. I am Indore. So I saw people how they were so aggressive or focused on cleaning. It's not just about giving them dustbins. It's also about citizens following those rules, right? Ensuring there's those those things are cleaned, segregated on a daily basis. Delhi may be hota hai, but nobody does that, right? Because people just put the burden on the other side of the governance. They won't come to your home and clean your garbage and segregate it. That's our job. So I think that's what I was trying to say. Because that has happened, maybe that's one of the reasons why Delhi sees a lot more. Obviously, there are other reasons as well, in terms of women are more conscious about their rights. They are more FIRs, things like that. But that was one of the parameters.
I think mains, since you have attempted twice and you've also improved your marks, what do you think works in mains now? Because naturally you'll be giving another attempt, but then you must have figured out something कि यार ये तो work करता ही है अब.
हाँ, there are couple parameters. I think number one is answer writing skill. वो तो आपको, I think आप तो इंडस्ट्री में बहुत ट्रांसपेरेंट हो गया है कि जैसे डायरेक्टिव क्या है, उस पर लिखना कैसे है, how many points to write, how to write, value add and all of that. I think one thing probably missing from this cycle, and I'll try to cope up on that, is practice. Because what I've seen is, which probably has worked for me, is prelims mein I did practice a lot of PYQs, and prelims I've cleared forest twice with very great marks. And mains mein I think from the first attempt I did not even have notes for that matter. But I did get in touch with Arvind sir and focus on the damage control, answer writing. Second year mein I had mains ka notes. I did some PYQs and test series, but I did not like sit down on a daily basis writing a lot. So I think writing itself matters a lot. If you write more, you will naturally progress. Like cricket only, जितना practice करोगे उतना आपका form अच्छा रहेगा.
Yeah.
So
yeah, correct. So I also feel that you're more suited for IFS as a personality. I don't know if you've been told about this, but I would want you to fill IFS this time for the first preference. And I mean, what's your take? Do you like foreign services? Would you want to enjoy the service if you get that?
मतलब my first preference probably would still be IAS, because I think I've learned more from society ground up, and I still want to contribute more to the, let's say, on ground and field. Obviously, it's a difficult take. I mean, you can argue the other way around, that foreign also contributes to the domestic service as well. But my potential broadly, if I have to talk about skill wise, I think there's some skills which is required for IFS. I do possess them relatively better, let's say, as compared to other candidates. No offense to them, but let's say talking to people, I've talked to people for almost half a decade, irrespective of their caliber, irrespective of their power, status quo. I've talked to partner level in Bain. I've talked to CXOs on a daily level, frequent level. So it's not difficult for me to get the multiple perspective, trying to get things over the board, even not doing great and understanding. I'm very good at feedback specifically. So if people are giving me feedback, I'm able to quickly learn and act on it.
Yeah.
So I think that's something which I will try to see. If it goes through, then surely I'll see if I can go for foreign this year.
Great, Rohit. Pleasure speaking.
Thank
It was a wonderful podcast. Thank you so much for taking out your time and joining us. Thank you.
Thank you.